I'm Tim McCurdy.
And I'm Souther Teague.
And this is Sauced, a weekly show about cooking with booze
and drinking with food.
Souther.
Tim?
I don't think I have been more nervous to approach an episode than I have for burgers for this episode here today.
What's got you so nervous?
I feel like it's a big one.
Oh, yeah.
It's a white whale.
Yeah.
People have a lot of opinions.
Mm-hmm.
And how far and wide do we set the boundaries on what we do? I think it's, for me, what it is, it's really making me evaluate the kind of structure and format of our show. And I think where I've ended up here is you can definitely add booze to this, but I think this is more of a drinking with food dish for me than a cooking with booze dish.
Sure, I can agree with that.
But that's the whole premise of this show, right? It's two things, and look, there's nothing more iconic or American than the hamburger.
Yeah,
with a cold beer.
With a frosty cold beer. Yeah, I can't, if there's any one food item that defines the American contribution to the culinary landscape, it's the burger. Am I wrong? I mean,
I think it's the burger and the cocktail.
Yeah.
Right? Like America's great gifts to the world when it comes to eating and drinking.
Yeah.
And everything that it represents as well, like fast food chains, the sort of Henry Fordification of putting food together and cooking and assembly lines and franchises and yeah. You ever seen that movie about the McDonald's founder? Is it called The Founder? I
think it's called The Founder. Yeah. All about Ray Kroc. It was Michael Keaton, right?
Yeah.
It was a good movie.
It was a good movie. Pretty dark in places.
Yeah, pretty compelling.
He wasn't the first, and we'll certainly get into that.
Mm-hmm.
What are your associations, though? I came quite hot off the bat there with my, a little bit nervous. I'm settled in now. I'm curious to hear from yourself.
Yeah, I don't know that I was nervous, but I definitely saw that as being a hurdle that we were going to have to overcome. And also, I guess there is a little bit of like trepidation, at least, knowing that, man, oh man, it doesn't matter what we say on this episode. We're gonna get some callbacks and some clapbacks, and people are gonna have much to say, no matter what we say. So like, there's just like sort of bracing for impact.
It's that, and it's also like, we've kind of used the analogy before in a sense, but it's like the souffle going in the oven. We're sat down. This is the only time where we can cover burgers for the first time. It's not to say we might not revisit them in the future, but like this is the first time.
Oh, I think we are going to absolutely have to revisit based on what we hear back from this one, first of all, but also the fact that I think we've chosen a path to take and there are other paths that we might want to explore. But
totally.
we can't do them all in one episode.
Professional experiences with this dish?
Oh, man, yeah. I mean, my very first cooking job was at the Waffle House in my hometown, and burgers are on the menu at the Waffle House to this day, so I cooked plenty there. I worked at a place called Spanky's in Durham, North Carolina, where burgers were quite popular. We had, your kind of standard, college town bistro style burger situation where you could customize it kind of endlessly,
Yeah.
We had some that were like listed on the menu. You want your mushroom and Swiss burger.
Yeah.
Or you want your blue cheese and red onion burger. Mm-hmm. But then it was also just like, here's the base, add what you want for different, costs or whatever. So plenty of burgers at Spanky's. I think those are the only two places that I really had them on menu that I had to really dig in and deal with a burger.
Mm-hmm.
But those were, I've made plenty of burgers, believe me.
I think I first started working in kitchens or was growing up during the era of the burger becomes a category and the sort of $20 burger, right, where it becomes this thing where it's like, suddenly you will have a section on menus where it's all those different types, but it's kind of like the bistro or the grill burger, you know what I mean? Like a thicker patty and, everyone kind of putting their stamp on it, making decisions. So I kind of came up in that era, but it must be fascinating for you because I'm sure like you saw that evolve. Not that I'm saying you're terribly older than me, but yeah.
No, older enough, yeah. Definitely there was no real demand for the smash burger when I was cooking those and then also I would note that the Waffle House burger that I cooked was on a flat top, and at Spanky's we had a grill. So I cooked kind of the two methods that are the most common for cooking a burger. There's obviously broiling too, but I think it was mostly just about like customization, and as far as that went, it was really just toppings.
Yeah,
it's kind of like pizza. Here's the pizza. What do you want on it?
Yeah.
Here's a burger. We have all these things. We have a few that we've put together that we think go well, mushroom Swiss, et cetera, whatever. But then we also have just this whole list of things you can add to your burger for, again, an upsell or whatever.
There was very much around that time as well for me. So I would say probably like maybe 2008 onwards.
Mm-hmm.
There was a chain in the UK called Meat Liquor, and they specialized in they specialized in two things: cocktails and burgers. Like that's literally all they did. And higher end burgers, very sort of Americana though, and styled as a what you would expect to get in America, even if you'd never been. I hadn't by that point. And that thing spread like when I moved to London, there was maybe one opened while I was there. And by the time I left, there was 5. They'd gone up to Leeds, Manchester, all these other places. So I think since they've had to scale back a lot, I think that moment is over.
Mm.
On the professional side, I think almost everywhere I've worked has had one on the menu in some form. Like definitely the kind of like the I don't know, the chefy bistro-y ones. At hotels, maybe more like on the room service menu. And then when I moved to Argentina, so 2014, first place I was living in was this like centuries old convent in the oldest part of town that a pretty rich expat had taken over and sort of turned into different apartments. And it was really cool and like, pretty sparse on things. It was more like holiday apartments, but I was living there. They had a bar downstairs that they didn't really use and they wanted to do something with. So when I moved over there and they found out I was a chef, they were like, we got a kitchen here if you ever want to do anything like a pop-up.
Mm.
This was at the time when Breaking Bad was red hot.
Okay.
So I started a pop-up night called Heisenburgers.
I thought you were going to say Breaking Burgers. All right, Heisenberger, I'll take it.
And, all of the burgers were sort of themed on the thing. So we had the Crystal Blue Persuasion, which was the blue cheeseburger and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think I only did a couple of nights doing it. It was fun. But by the time I left Argentina a couple of years later, some expats had taken the name and opened up their own chain in a different part of town called Soho, which is like where all the tourists go, but it's cool. It's kind of like Williamsburg.
Mm-hmm.
So, Heisenberg, the name had legs, if not the concept with me doing it.
I mean, someone took it and ran. So does it still exist? I wonder. Let's go. Let's check it out.
Let's see. I think it was in Palermo, Soho, or something like that. But yeah, the burger. Anything else to add just in this sort of preamble before we start getting into our regular sections?
I mean, I'll give you my, one-line elevator pitch here. And I can even see taking some flack on this, but here's what I wrote down. A hamburger is a ground beef patty cooked over high heat and served in a bun, celebrating one of the world's most successful combinations of meat, bread, fat, and texture.
Yeah.
That's as kind of like vague but specific as I can put it. As a one-liner,
yeah,
that's what a burger is.
Yeah. And then there are so many ways in which you can add to that or like refine it, right? Like what is the bun? What is the meat? How are you cooking it? Sauces. Are there any are there any toppings that have to be on there? I guess we will explore when we get into the non-negotiables.
Let's get to it.
I think one other thing, I wasn't sure where to bring this up, so let's just talk about it now. The idea of the burger as a menu item for quote unquote serious restaurants or like higher end restaurants. Mm-hmm. Terrible idea. Great on paper. Terrible idea.
Say why. I don't think I disagree, but I want to hear why.
My feeling is this. If you are a restaurant that becomes known for your burger, people come for that menu item.
Sure.
You can't, well, it depends in New York these days, but you can't charge too much more than $25 to $30.
Yeah. That's kind of even outlier here in New York, I think.
Even that, right? So let's say 20 to 30 is your kind of range.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, the other main courses that you have on the menu are probably selling for 50, 60 these days.
Mm-hmm.
So you're leaving money on the table there.
Mm-hmm.
Your margins are probably pretty thin.
Yeah, because your margin isn't going to be as, it's going to be better than maybe a steak, obviously, but it's not going to be so much better that it's worth having someone buy an entree that's half the price of that steak.
Exactly.
Right.
Then you put it on the menu, you become known for it. Suddenly you realize you're not making that much money.
Mm-hmm.
So you either A, take it off the menu and people get mad at you.
Wow.
Or B, you limit the number you do every day.
And that people get mad at you.
People get mad at you.
There's no winning.
And that might be a real limit, as we see in a place like, for example, Sip and Guzzle, which is a burger you've tried. I'm yet to have it yet, but they use the trimmings from their Wagyu.
Right. They have a Wagyu sandwich on the menu at the, I always get it backwards. Downstairs at Sip. Yeah.
Sip.
Downstairs at Sip, they have the Wagyu sandwich that they trim. The trimmings that they render from that is what they grind into their burger upstairs at Guzzle. And they only go through so much of that Wagyu. They can only generate, I think it's 12 burgers a day.
Something like that, yeah.
Maybe 10 even.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got to be there first.
Yeah.
The first group of folks who go in are the only people who get the burger. And
they came up with that over a year after they opened, right? And I see that as a genuine solution. If you have offcuts, you're going to use them for this thing and you can price it appropriately, whatnot. Great, right? So that's a real limitation that they have. But if you start putting artificial limitations, we only do 25 burgers a day.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the case at, what's the place in Bushwick as well? Rolo's.
Oh, uh-huh.
Known for their burgers as well. Amazing burger. I've had it. Love it. But they're like, we only do X amount of these a day. And it's not really clear why.
Well, I think you just described why. It's because they have to battle that sort of margin issue. And I think from a business standpoint, I think it's a pretty clever maneuver. And I think it's helpful because what that's doing is it's really going to drive probably a slow time in your business. When you open the doors, it's liftoff, right? The faster you can get up into the air, the more revenue you're generating for the evening. So if you say, well, I've only got X number of these and people want them, they're going to come early. So they're going to fill those early slots where the later slots are going to fill anyway from people who that's what time they eat dinner.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense. It's a little bit bothersome, but you have to understand, man, business is cutthroat, and I don't think they're doing it to anger their, clientele. I think they're doing it to be more nimble.
Yeah.
So I give everyone a grain of salt for doing that. Good for them.
Totally. And I guess I'm just curious, and we don't even need to answer it, but what is the answer to this conundrum? Do you not have a burger on the menu, but that's something that people want? And if it fits into your cuisine, then why wouldn't you have one on there? But then how do you navigate that? I guess that's the difference between
I think the thing that's the rudder that's navigating this situation for especially New York City restaurants is, what's your rent?
Right.
Because you may have signed on to your rent knowing that I'm going to have $50 entrees and I've got a certain margin and that's where we're going to live. And then you put a burger on the menu and it suddenly becomes your best seller, but it's half the price. Then your rent didn't go half.
You need to double your covers that you do every day.
Right.
Put stress on the kitchen, and then it's like, do I really only want to be cooking this one thing? But I mean, look, all of that aside, I love burgers. I love them. I love making them at home. I love ordering them out. I like trying signature burgers. Mm-hmm. We're lucky here that where we record in Red Hook, Brooklyn, there is a vaunted establishment nearby, the Red Hook Tavern.
Sure.
Known for its burger as well. And let me tell you, they are doing fine business and they continue to expand. So Mr. William Durney has figured out the the equation there.
Yeah.
All right. Time to get into some origins. And
I am assuming there's no hard and fast answer.
There isn't. So I've tried to pull some stuff together where it's exactly. How far back do you go with this thing? What is the thing that transforms beef prepared in a certain way into a hamburger or a burger? What is the moment? Maybe we'll figure it out together.
All right.
The earliest, or one of the earliest origins you see of some kind of preparation like this, it's a bit of a stretch, but it included booze, so I wanted to bring it up here.
Cool.
Romans. And there's written record of this. So in the 4th to 5th century AD, in the Roman cookbook Apicius, it records a dish of minced beef pounded with white bread that had been soaked in wine, pepper, pine nuts, something called garum, which was a fish sauce, shaped into a patty, wrapped in coal fat, and then grilled.
Okay.
So no bun. Also, another detail on this, the patties were glazed with a sauce that was a reduction of grape must, so kind of wine as well. I think it was like a sweet wine. Right. So you have wine in the mince, in the panard, the bread mixture, wine on the glaze, but it wasn't being eaten between bread. So, I don't know.
Kind of a meatball.
Kind of a,
yeah.
And then throughout...
Kind of a crepinette. Do you know what crepinettes are?
Yeah.
The sort of patty, typically pork, but wrapped in caul fat, kind of served as a luncheon in fine French places or whatever.
It's interesting because we would use crepinette as a synonym for caul fat in the bistro.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know whether that is maybe maybe that is the French name of the ingredient, of the material.
Yeah, could be, but yeah, I've always known it as the dish.
As the dish, yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very plausible. Throughout the medieval times as well, like big elaborate roasts would be served with these kind of meatball-y things that resemble this Roman ancestor, and but again, not being eaten in buns. Then we come to the name, the hamburger, right? So before it was American, a lot of claims do point to the German port city, and in the 19th century, was known for high-quality beef exports.
Okay.
Apparently. Most importantly as well, during the 19th century, and I think this is one of the biggest moments for the burger, the invention of the meat grinder.
I was about to say, the grinder has to really play a role in its popularity, because mincing meat by hand probably, on large scale, not going to happen very, very, very efficiently. And also, the grinder coming along is one thing, but also just the quality of knives, the quality of cutting boards, the quality of getting a minced meat product probably just wasn't the most common way to eat things.
And what problem are you solving by mincing meat, by hand, right? Like if it's a tougher cut of meat, then you just braise it.
Right.
If it's a really nice cut of meat, then just keep it as a steak.
Right.
So there's that. But German immigrants arriving in America through the port of New York bring the Hamburg steak, which is chopped beef, lightly salted, often with onions and breadcrumbs. 1873, Delmonico's in New York lists an 11-cent Hamburg steak developed by chef Charles Ranhofer. It's the oldest English language menu reference to the dish. And interestingly, it cost twice as much as the regular beefsteak. So it was a delicacy, not a cheaper thing.
That's okay.
Yeah.
At 11 cents, it was twice as much.
Yeah. So what was the other one? 5.5 cents?
Yeah.
Maybe 6. I don't know. Then between the 1880s...
because it was more work. There was more processing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also it's foreign. Maybe, it has a bit of that allure.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
Cachet.
the European cachet. Between the late 1800s is when we really see people trying to claim this thing, especially with the buns. Mm-hmm. So there's a bunch of claims here, and people, and at least 6 towns and people who have their claims. Starting in 1885, Hamburger Charlie Negreen. He flattened his meatballs at the Seymour, Wisconsin County Fair so that fairgoers could walk and eat. Seymour, the town, calls itself the home of the hamburger and throws a burger fest every August. Also in 1885, at a different county fair, Frank and Charles Menches ran out of pork sausages at the Erie County Fair in Hamburg, New York.
All right.
So they subbed in ground beef. Feel like that town name is doing quite a lot for their claim.
Okay.
Later in the 1880s, Uncle Fletcher Davis, serves a ground beef and mustard sandwich at his Athens, Texas lunch counter. 1891.
I mean, that one sounds close because he said the word sandwich.
Sandwich.
That changes it, right?
Yeah.
It's not just a hunk of meat that I'm walking around at the county fair eating.
Exactly, right? Yeah. So, like, how does squashing a meatball into a patty make it any easier?
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking the same thing.
It's still hot.
I'm still going back to the 11 cent thing because you said the guy's name and it was a German name. I think he was playing on the cachet because he's like, this is from Hamburg, Germany. I'm German.
Yeah.
This is a cachet.
This is how we do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Oscar Weber Bilby, 1891, puts grilled patties on a yeast bun in a Tulsa, Oklahoma picnic.
All right.
His claim isn't inventing the burger. His claim is being the first to put it on an actual bun,
Right.
not bread.
Not just bread, sure.
Not toast. And then in 1900, probably the most famous story out of all of them, Louis Lassen presses ground steak trimmings between two slices of toast at his New Haven, Connecticut lunch wagon.
Louis Lunch.
Louis Lunch. This is the one that the Library of Congress would eventually recognize in 2000 as the first hamburger. To this day, they still cook on cast iron vertical broilers, and they refuse to serve it on a bun or with ketchup.
That's right. It's on just white bread toasted, and you can get mustard. And I think I've never had it, but I've seen plenty of videos about it. I think you can get pickles.
I think it's pickles, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that as well, right? And it's interesting, like all these different ingredients being added to the collective conscious or subconscious of what this thing will eventually become. And then just to go back to our American theme and some final things on the origins here. 1921, Walt Anderson and Billy Ingram opened the first ever White Castle in Wichita, Kansas. They were serving square 5-cent sliders, smashed with onions, identical at every location. It becomes the first fast food hamburger chain, and Time magazine would later call it the most influential burger of all time.
Right. And I think that the thing that they really did, I had a little note from them too. What you just kind of said is they took the idea from this sort of questionable, who knows what I'm going to get answer to something trusted and standardized. I think that was that's the turning point.
Yeah.
Is having something that is a known entity. They codified it.
Yeah. Weird, the White Castle. I mean, I grew up, my first, as anyone outside of the country might have had a similar experience. My first reference for White Castle was Harold and Kumar Get the Munchies. And I wanted to go to one so bad for so long. And then I ended up living in Sunnyside, where there was one 2 blocks across the road from me. Went late one night. Extremely disappointing.
Yeah. I mean, it is its own thing. We didn't have those in the South where I'm from. We had the dupe. It's called Crystal. Mm-hmm. So you had Crystal and White Castle. They're effectively the same thing. Little square burgers, steamed buns, the steamed onions, which are rehydrated dried onions. There's a very specific flavor. I can taste it right now just talking about it. And you don't eat one. They're tiny. You literally order them by the dozen. Like my dad, I think, would eat 2 dozen at a time. It's like they're like the size of. I just thought of it right now, but like they're kind of like the size of a big oyster. Like you're eating 24 oysters. Not that big a deal. They're so soft you can ball them up and put 2 in your mouth entirely, or maybe even more. It's the patty itself is. I will say this, and this is a unique thing that I didn't have in my notes or anything. I kind of forgot about it, but what you and I culinary dudes refer to as the fish spatula.
Yeah,
that was invented at White Castle. It was made to flip that little tiny square steamed burger because
that's cool.
The burger looks like a cracker. Basically, it's about the size of a saltine cracker in every dimension, and then it's got holes in it so that the meat steams on the flat top. They cook really fast, and then they invented that flipper. They called it, but we all know it as a fish spat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something you said as well was very visceral for me too. The flavor of those patties. Mm-hmm. It kind of reminded me of the burgers or the mincemeat that you would get for school dinner at the school cafeteria when I was growing up. And it was like, ugh, this is like this doesn't taste like normal burgers. It's
Well, we're
got
not
like a
getting
kind of
any-
metallic-y kind of weirdness.
We're not getting any Maillard reaction. They're overwhelmingly they're steamed.
Gotcha.
It's a steamed burger. So that's not the most memorable. Like we have so many memories of ground beef having browning, and in this case, it doesn't.
That is the answer. That's a great point.
Mm-hmm. But weirdly, like I'd eat a pile of them if they were sitting right here.
Oh yeah,
like they're craveable. They're tasty. They wouldn't be in business this long if they weren't.
They're also kind of like a vehicle for sauce and condiments and whatnot. I think sadly, a White Castle just shut down this week as we're recording it. I think I saw that on Instagram. But I think the Sunnyside one is still going. It definitely didn't look like that location, but it's iconic. 2 final things to note here. Then I've got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Circa 1924, 16-year-old Lionel Sternberger,
He has a burger in his name,
dropped a slice of cheese on a patty at the right spot in Pasadena, California. The menu called it the aristocratic burger.
Ooh.
There's somewhere else. Kalen's in Louisville, Kentucky claims its own cheeseburger to be the first after they opened in 1934. And then in 1935, Louis Ballast of Denver's Humpty Dumpty Drive-In tried to trademark the word cheeseburger. In fact, they did trademark it, but it was no good whatsoever, and everyone continued using that term.
Mm-hmm.
Well, to this day, as we know.
They didn't vehemently fight for their mark.
So speaking of which...
Listen, if the Chicago Bulls can trademark the term three-peat, they just didn't try hard enough is all I'm saying.
The big game.
Yeah, the big game.
So In-N-Out Burger is quite litigious as well with people... There was someone, I forget, I was reading up, there was like a lawsuit where someone used the term triple-double, which I think was a term that they owned or whatever. So I forget the place that did it. So because they got sued, then they just changed the name of it to Burger. But just to take the mick. But question for you.
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned didn't have White Castle in the South.
Mm-mm.
In-N-Out Burger, famously not available here on the East Coast. And I feel like maybe they do that kind of to artificially increase their standing. You got Jack in the Box. That's a long way of asking, what is your preferred burger chain in this country?
That's a tough question for me to answer because over 30 years ago, I decided to never go to chain restaurants again.
Okay.
Of any kind. So not just fast food. I don't go to like Chili's or Applebee's and that's really just my stance on, I would rather spend my dollars with the little guy.
Mm-hmm.
So there's plenty of like little guy places that I would like to go get a burger. Cozy Royale here in Brooklyn is really great, known and well known for their burger. It's a madhouse getting in there. They go through like, there's plenty of videos and stuff you can go find. They go through like more than 1,000 burgers a week in this tiny little place.
Wow.
And that's not their only, they're also a restaurant. They have other things as well. But yeah, I haven't been inside I've never been inside like a Starbucks ever. Like Starbucks didn't really exist when I made the decision to not go to fast food anymore. not any fast food, just chain. I don't go to chains. I try not to shop at chains of any kind. That's just a personal moral stance.
Sleeper hit historic place that is kind of like an insider info for a great burger here in New York City as well.
Mm-mm.
Julius's in the West Village. I believe the oldest gay bar in New York.
Yeah.
And they have this griddle in the middle of the room, cash burgers. It's amazing. And it's like a dive bar. It's incredible, this place.
Wait, a griddle in the middle of the room? You grill your own?
No.
No.
I
thought you said like Turf Club.
No, but it's kind of like, it's an open kitchen, but it's not designed to be an open kitchen in the sense of like, it's like a burger stand.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
But I will say, when I was younger, we used to go to Whataburger a lot, which is kind of a Texas chain, but they're also in Florida.
Man, that was going to be my answer to that.
Yeah, where did you go to Whataburger?
In Texas, multiple. Oh. Yeah, I've been to. Yeah, I will travel to Texas for Whataburger. I mean, I know I don't have to, but like I love it, that place.
Yeah,
and I for years had heard of this, and I'm like, what's the deal with the water? No, it's what a burger, but everyone says Whataburger.
Yeah, now you're going to go over to the Chick-fil-A.
Wait, last thing on chains. What was that one when we were in LA that we couldn't stop laughing about? It was across the street from our hotel when we were...
Oh, you get the one you get a corn dog as a side dish.
Yes.
I can't remember the name of it, though. But their side dish offerings were French fries, something else, or corn dog. So you get like their meal would be a burger and a drink and a side. So you get a burger and a drink and a corn dog as your side.
But we were being pedantic about the name because it was kind of like the Bananas Foster's thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, that will come to one of us. So those are kind of the origins. Those are all the contributions to this collective culinary masterpiece. Speaking of which, culinary luminaries. Interested to hear where you went for this one.
Yeah, there aren't a lot, right? There's some figures, and you listed most of them. Louis Lassen from Louis Lunch up there in Connecticut is certainly among them. Walter and Billy from White Castle.
Yeah.
You kind of jumped right over Ray Kroc.
Oh, yeah.
Arguably the individual most responsible for making hamburgers a global phenomenon. There's Daniel Boulud, who with his DB burger helped like legitimize the sort of gourmet chef angle where he put ground beef and braised short rib and foie gras into a burger, which was insane. I never had one, but like, wow.
I had that one. So when I was in London during that period, they had an outpost, or they had somewhere who had either copied him or they had an outpost. I think it was the latter, sorry. Yeah, I had the foie gras burger.
Yeah? How was it?
Decadent.
Yeah. That sounds decadent, but was it a burger? I think that this is the problem that we're facing with this episode, and also just this topic in general. There's so much ground to cover that there's always going to be someone who can say, "Well, that's not really a burger."
Yeah, yeah.
No matter what you do,
exactly.
And then I think the one you didn't mention at all that I'm going to mention, who's probably the most important modern authority on the burger history and its regional styles. You already know who I'm talking about, the guy with the big lamb chops, George Motz.
Mm-hmm.
Like this guy now has Burger America. I think its full title is Hamburger America here in New York City, where they specialize in smash burgers, but they also have a rotating menu I think it's every 2 weeks, where they do a different burger from a region here in America, which is where the burger was born. And this guy literally has like a PhD in like a hamburgerology or whatever. And like, the current climate where the smash burger is king, this guy is really capitalizing on all that. I don't know. That's a good point as well. We're in the smash burger phase right now, right? So it goes fast food chains for the best part of maybe 60 to 80 years, like defining this thing. Chefs kind of reclaim it with the $20 burgers we were talking about there. I don't even know if they reclaimed it as much as they had to capitalize on it.
They had to, they said, we can do this, hold my beer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And you go from, okay, what happens if we scale up or make each component of it more fancy and chefy? Then it goes to the Boulud foie gras, like it's the Bloody Mary garnish of food. It's just like everything. What can we put in a burger? What can we make into a burger? The foie gras one, I would argue, was doing more work trying to make the foie gras work than it was being like, is this a good burger?
Sure, I can see that. And I think what you're saying is like this sort of like, a great analogy, the Bloody Mary garnish being so over the top that it's no longer about the Bloody Mary. It's about the whole fried chicken on a skewer that's sticking out of it with a lobster tail and
sometimes even a burger on there
and
as a garnish.
Burger. Yeah. And sometimes all of those things, it looks like a bouquet of giant food flowers that land on your table, and there's a Bloody Mary under there somewhere, but it's like the least, of the situation. And I think that that's where our conversation is going to go when we talk about non-negotiables and preparation. We need to, I think, really get into the nitty-gritty of the burger itself, and then the listener can go ham on it.
Yeah.
And literally put ham on it.
Weirdly,
I got two more I want to just drop in real fast.
Yeah.
James Beard.
Okay.
I mean, Beard famously regarded hamburgers as one of America's defining foods. And I don't disagree with him at all. Like we said that at the top of the show. Like if there's anything that the American, cuisine has given to the culinary landscape, it's the burger. Like, no question.
Yeah.
But he championed regional variations long before they became fashionable. And like he was, James Beard was certainly, obviously, somewhat of an eccentric, but he was also kind of the people. He wanted to speak to people. And speaking of guys who want to speak to people, our boy Bourdain, and he, I think, falls into the same camp as you and I, because he was famously skeptical of overly elaborate burgers, and believed that a great burger should be recognizable as a burger and not just a luxury stunt, he called it. And I think that's what
Smart.
That's what we're describing on these Bloody Marys, right? Those are kind of a luxury stunt.
Yeah.
The Bloody Mary is there, and it's the literal pillar that's holding it up, but all that other stuff is stunting. So I think that's what we need to really talk about, the burger as this foundation from which then you can do as you please. But I think we need to go the simple route. I'm not stunting.
And I think George Mott's and the smash burger moment that we're in now, I think that is the current era, right? It's the reaction to the stunt burgers.
Yeah, because the burgers that he does are very simple.
Yeah,
and they've been around for a long time. They've stood the test of time. These other, like, I don't know, does the DB burger still even exist? I don't think it does.
Probably not. And another one I just wanted to highlight from that moment, April Bloomfield, Spotted Pig.
Yeah.
You remember that burger? Char grilled. I just remember the thing that I hated about that burger.
Those fries.
Yeah.
They were the worst.
They were so bad. The shoestring fries.
They were just like...
If I wanted potato chips with my burger, I'll have potato chips.
Right, they didn't satisfy either desire. No. They were crispy little threads. They were threads. They were shoe thread fries.
Yeah.
They were threads of crispy potatoes. They weren't satisfying as a French fry. They weren't satisfying as a potato chip. Yeah, that was the worst part of that burger.
Generally, like slightly overcooked as well. You could taste the oil. Yeah, I was just like, whatever. But, I had the Roquefort blue cheeseburger as well. And I'm just going to, I'll play my cards here now. Not a blue cheeseburger fan at all. Like, there's a time and a place for a stunt burger, but not that one for me.
Are you a blue cheese fan?
I love blue cheese.
Okay, well, that's fair then.
Just because I think you associate a burger with sweetness and acidity from the, from the sauces and from the things that you add in there, sharpness. Whereas this is taking the flavor profile in a different direction, which means I need to add more ketchup, but I shouldn't be adding ketchup to Roquefort.
Right. Interesting. I don't know that I have a particular stance. I'm a huge blue cheese lover. I think I like blue cheese with a piece of steak more than I like it with a ground meat.
Yeah.
So I can camp with you on this one.
Mm-hmm. Then otherwise, I want to get your take as the former butcher here. Pat LaFrida.
Yeah, the Pat LaFrida blend is ubiquitous here in New York. And then he'll also customize, right? So if you've got a shop and you want to put a burger on your menu, you can tell them, how much of which grinds you want in there, which chuck, how much brisket, how much short rib, how much fat to lean. Like, he'll customize for you. But he has a blend. I don't know what it is exactly, but it's probably at least a 80-20.
It's 80-20. It's chuck, which brings strip steak flavor, strip steak kind of savoriness, brisket, which carries the fat, and short rib for a hint of sweetness.
Right, the things I just listed. Yeah.
So you're pretty on it there. For those who aren't familiar, who is Pat LaFrida? Or what is their company?
I mean, it's an actual guy who's a butcher, but his company is called Pat LaFrida Meats, and it's here in New York City, and they're just a massive butcher that has a really stellar reputation for great meats in general, but also a great grind.
If they did not invent the 80-20, surely they popularized it or
Yeah, I would say that for
spread
sure.
the reputation.
Yeah, because that's the right amount of fat to lean to get you a burger that will be tender, moist, and juicy, still retain its shape and not fall apart.
Yeah.
80-20. You don't want to go any less fat than that. Like when you're at the store, you're tempted because you're trying to watch your waist or whatever. But if you're watching your waist, maybe a burger's not the right choice. Because you can get away with those leaner grinds, 90-10s or whatever that you see at the grocery store. You can get away with those for your sauces like bolognese and stuff like that, which we will surely talk about on another episode. But for a burger, you need the fat. The fat has to be there.
Yeah.
And then when we talk about preparation, I want to talk about something that's probably controversial, but it has to do with the fat.
I think I know what you're going to talk about, and I have some little Kenji Lopez out here as well, but we'll save
cool.
that. We'll save that.
Cool.
What's other? Those have been the origins, our personal reflections on this wonderful piece of food. Culinary luminaries. Time for us to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with what I think is going to be a very difficult non-negotiables.
Difficult. Okay, let's go. Today's non-negotiables are brought to you by Palomo Mezcal. Built on balance, Palomo keeps the smoke lighter than most mezcal and pushes the proof a notch higher. Sip it neat or let your cocktails sing with cooked agave and bright citrus.
All right, so we're back. Non-negotiables. Interested to hear where you're going with this. What is your number one? Let's go in terms of importance, if we can. I don't know.
I think the most important thing is ground meat. We just kind of talked about what that meat needs to be. I think it should be at least an 80-20 blend of ground meat.
Yes.
And it's beef. If you say burger and it's not beef, you better have prefaced it with something.
Right.
You want to try my lamb burger? Sure, I'm in. But if you say you want to try my burger and then you bring me a lamb burger, I'm going to be upset.
I love a lamb burger, actually.
Me too.
So good.
Yeah, very good. But I'm saying you need to tell me that.
Oh, yeah, totally.
You personally, if I'm at your house or your backyard, and also any restaurant, of course, needs to tell me that.
Just back to that smash situation real quick. I think how we can prove that we are definitely in that era. There's a place that's opened up nearby in the neighborhood in Carroll Gardens. It's a chicken smash burger spot.
Whoa.
Don't tend to get a lot of ground chicken burgers, right? Chicken sandwiches are generally whole cuts.
That sounds like it's going to be so lean and crispy and chewy and not a pleasant way. I don't know. Listen, if they're doing it, they're doing it.
I haven't tried it yet, but I've been meaning to get in there.
Let's go support the local guy.
All right. My next, my non-negotiable here would be you got to have the bun.
Yeah.
And it has to be a bun.
Yes.
That's the thing that takes us from the Roman era to the hamburger.
Sure. Now, if I'm in your backyard and you've just got some white Wonder Bread and that's what we're having, that's what we're having. It's still delicious. But a bun is a defining marker. That's a hamburger sandwich. This is a hamburger.
Let's debate buns now.
Uh-oh.
So the stunt era or the chefification of burgers. Brioche.
I don't think brioche is the best choice.
I agree with you.
Because I think the stuntification, chefified, whatever terminology we're going to try and create here, they're kind of always reaching for luxury and rich. And at a certain point, you maybe have gone too far.
Yeah.
If I'm having a rich blend of fatty meat with some folded in braised brisket and some foie gras, maybe I don't need this on a intensely rich and buttery bread.
Right.
Maybe the bread could be a foil to get me back away from that a little bit,
It became the playbook, didn't it? It was like, if you were going to be known for your burger, it had to be a brioche bun.
Mm-hmm.
Homemade ketchup, which again, terrible idea.
Bad idea.
You know who makes good ketchup?
Heinz.
Yes. You know who makes good mustard?
Heinz. French's.
We don't need that. And then, all the other things. Triple cooked chips as well entered the equation.
I mean, the mustard thing I'll fight you on, but that's because mustard can be different. If you say ketchup, everyone has a flavor profile in their mind, and if you don't achieve that flavor profile, then you've lost the plot.
Yeah.
Like I always say in the bitters world, you can make your line of bitters, make all the flavors you want. Don't bother trying to make an aromatic. Angostura has cornered the aromatic market. You cannot beat the king.
Exactly.
Go ahead and make your pear bitters, make whatever else, but Angostura has that one covered. So Heinz has ketchup covered.
So are you a potato bun guy?
I like a potato bun, but I have a controversial one, but I think for our standard, it's probably going to be a potato bun. But I, to be slightly controversial, I like the pretzel bun.
Ooh.
Just a little denser. It's got a little bit more chew. Has a little bit of that saltiness, because a burger, as we talk in preparation, probably not going to be interior seasoning, mostly just on the exterior. So a little extra salt coming from the bun is kind of helpful.
I like the German tie to it as well.
Sure, didn't even think of that, but yeah.
Once again, I think to your point as well, like if you're serving a lamb burger, you need to tell people, like if the pretzel bun is your delivery vehicle for this piece of meat, you have to let people know.
I'll say so, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, also, like, in my experience in my backyard, which is where I'm mostly going to be serving burgers to friends when they come over, it's almost like the taco situation, you know? I'm going to supply you with the burger. I'm probably going to call out to you, you want cheese on this? And then there's going to be a station with all the stuff, including some brioche buns, some pretzel buns, and some potato buns. So that's up to you. Like, go your own way. But I'd say for me, I'm probably going to reach for that pretzel bun.
Totally.
Do you have another bread choice?
The only other would just be like a classic soft white bun, you know, just general bread roll.
Yeah.
I want it to be soft and pillowy, though. Whatever it is.
You know what that is? That's sugar.
Yeah.
Right. When you're baking, the softening agent in baking, the difference between bread and cake is sugar. Yeah.
Yeah.
So pillowy soft is sugary bread. That's fine, though. I'm not decrying it. I'm just defining it.
And don't get me wrong.
And I like that, too.
I don't dislike a brioche bun.
I want a thinner patty if I'm eating that pillowy bread.
Yeah.
And then just some pickles and mustard. Maybe some onion. Like, just pretty basic.
So what's our next non-negotiable?
I mean, weirdly, that's kind of it.
I think you need a sauce.
Oh, you think it's a non-negotiable to have a sauce?
Yeah. I don't think you can serve...
But now you're going down that road that I always go down on the non-negotiables. Unless you have a specific sauce, it's not non-negotiable.
I think one of either ketchup or mustard or both. And I'm imagining the scene of the McDonald's movie where they're applying it, and I'm just imagining how appealing that looks and how I'm like, if you don't have those things, because then the other one, like at what point are we sharing our non-negotiables, or at what point are we just describing McDonald's hamburgers?
Right.
Pickles and some chopped onions.
Yeah. Again, the rehydrated, dried onions. Something about them, man.
Yeah.
They really locked into something on that.
What type of bread do they do?
It's white pillowy bread.
It's white pillowy. It's not potato, right?
Mm-hmm.
For those, because I would say, maybe it was just something that I wasn't familiar with, but I feel like potato buns are much more common here than across the pond. How are we incorporating the potato into the bun? And also, like, most of these things I will be buying, right? Like, I'm not. I might go to the effort, I might not, but how are you incorporating potato into your bun? In what form?
It's, I'm no baker, but it's mashed potato folded into the
flour mix.
Flour, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like a weird extended gnocchi.
Exactly.
Right.
Or a tatty scone if you're Scottish.
Sure, and it just gives it a little bit more chew, right? It's not as pillowy as the white bread. It's not as buttery and soft as the brioche. It's not as firm as the pretzel. They all have their spot in the spectrum.
It's got that kind of, it keeps its integrity, which is good, especially if it's like super greasy or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So we're saying ground meat, 80-20. Bun, will you allow sauces as a non-negotiable?
Of course. My buddy who I lived with when I was a young man living in Chicago, he was from Nebraska, and he always called it the blend of ketchup, mustard, and mayonnaise was sauce Nebraska. So you can have some sauce Nebraska on your burger. You throw in a few chopped pickles, and I guess you're heading down the road to secret sauce.
Do you like mayo ketchup?
I do, yeah. I'm a big mayonnaise fan. I love, but I make it myself. I always have homemade mayonnaise in my fridge. So there are some other non-negotiables though that aren't the product itself, but the usage, right? We got to have direct high heat cooking.
Yes,
that's either going to be on a flat top or a grill or a broiler. Browning, Maillard reaction
is a non-negotiable. Yep,
it is, and strangely, we just talked about a burger chain that exists that's not even part of their program, right?
But both of them, are different.
White Castle and Crystal, no Maillard, no brown. And then I think that's it.
Yeah.
2 seasonings are necessary. We have to have salt and pepper.
Yes, yeah, true. I will say, if we're adding cheese, it's got to be American cheese for me.
I'm going to say we're just going back to like nomenclature and the way people talk to you about what they're serving you, be they your friend in the backyard or be they the restaurant. If it says cheeseburger, it better be American cheese.
Yeah.
If it says blue cheeseburger or cheddar cheese, then that's fine.
Yeah.
Describe it. But if you just say cheeseburger, I better get browned meat on a bun with American cheese melting and then, some kind of sauce, and we're out of here.
But that's a cheeseburger, isn't it?
That's a cheeseburger.
Okay, yeah. So a hamburger.
The title of this episode is Burgers.
Burgers, true. Okay. So if it's a hamburger, though, and going back to that thing, the test, you get served it in a restaurant. If I order a hamburger, yes, the bun, yes, the patty, sauce, yes. I might expect some onions and pickles and stuff. I might not. They might arrive, they might not. But if it doesn't have the sauce, this is solidifying it for me. If it's just bun and meat, that's not a burger to me.
Copy. All right. Okay. I'll stand with that.
All right. Well, those have been the non-negotiables. Now let's look at some of the other ingredients and let's talk about some other decisions we have to make. I'm putting a pin in salt for now.
Yep.
How do you feel about lettuce and tomato?
I'm weirdly more okay with lettuce than I am tomato.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's because lettuce transcends seasonality and tomatoes do not. I would much prefer you hand me a burger, even without telling me, in the dead of winter with like a similarly thick slice of roasted beet instead of a terrible winter tomato.
Yeah.
I would rather you do that. Surprise me. Don't even tell me. Right? Meanwhile, just don't put it on there. I don't want a tomato unless it's good.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's a real failure of the American approach to the hamburger is that it kind of always has a tomato on it when it can literally make or break the burger if it's not a good tomato.
Yeah.
Right? I don't eat BLTs all year long either. Tomatoes aren't good all year.
Yeah.
The bacon's fine. The lettuce is fine. The tomato's the outlier.
Okay.
So how do I feel about it? It's fine, but only in season.
So you're saying the lettuce can always get a pass, but not. Okay.
So can an onion.
Well, this was going to be my follow-up. What is your preferred onion delivery method here or preparation?
If it's a thinner burger, but I think we're going to talk about a thicker burger. If it's a thinner burger, I want them diced. If it's a thicker burger, I like rings. Okay. And not only rings, like slices. Yeah. All the rings still together. Not loosely, but like one disc of onion.
This is reminding me. So one of the hotel restaurants that I worked in when I was in London, my station was was responsible for putting the burger together, not cooking it, but cooking the fries. And so the mise en place was, we would have layers of, you would have a slice of tomato on the bottom, then that sliced ring of red onion, so like a cross section of red onions on top of that, then a pickle sliced lengthways on top of that. And we would just have like a bunch of those. And that was just remembering pulling that out of the fridge now.
For me, it better be a white onion.
Yeah.
Unless you, again, tell me specifically it's going to be a red onion, which, by the way, I understand they aren't red.
You do?
I've been told, yes. Why would you call a thing red onion when it's not red?
Red wine.
We also call them Bermudas, right? I don't know why that is.
That's no idea.
Bermuda onion? Whatever.
The elusive. So I would say I actually think I'm more of a thin burger person, but we'll get to that. Depends on how we're cooking it later.
Okay. All right.
If I'm white onions, I'm the same. I'm going with them. I'm going to, once I've diced or sliced them, rinse them under ice cold water.
Sure.
And then maybe soak them in ice cold water for a little bit just to get rid of a little bit of the bite.
The sulfur, yeah.
For anyone who happens to be with you and for everyone involved,
Yeah. Also you can cut around that in a way at least. Vidalia onions are quite common in the South where I'm from, so they're much sweeter. They have less sulfur already. Walla Wallas, and there's a third one. that I can't think of right now. But there are sweet onions on the market, so you can go that route as well. But yeah, soaking them is a great idea.
Another opinion here.
Mm-hmm.
I think the double is a terrible idea.
Okay.
I only want one patty in my burger.
But you said thin, but you don't mean smashed.
Smash, yeah.
You want a smash burger?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I think I've come full circle. And maybe it was because I was watching a lot of George Mott's videos before we came on here.
Oh, it's mouth-watering to watch those videos. There is something deep inside of us all when we see a burger being cooked.
Yes. So, and for those who aren't familiar, what he does, so he has, like we said, he has his 80-20 mix. He's not packing it tight. We'll get into some science now, right? Mm-hmm. He's not packing it tight. It's in a bowl. It's weighed out. He puts it on a ripping hot flat, why am I, like a plancha? What am I?
Flat top grill.
Flat top grill.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I was having a brain fart there. Griddle. Gets it on there, allows it to sear for 10 seconds maybe, then flips it over, smashes it down, at which point he seasons it, and then he cooks it maybe sort of 80% before flipping it again, American cheese on top, puts a little cloche on there, lid, lets the cheese melt, and serves it. Tell me why he has made all of those decisions, or you will know the decisions that I was talking about there, like why each of those matters.
That initial sear when it's still in a ball shape is just getting some Maillard started. Then the flip and smash is spreading the meat out so that it can get this sort of frilly, lacy edge on there. That's when the seasoning comes into play, because if you season your hamburger meat ahead of time, you're going to come out with a very sausage-like texture. Then that final flip is going to get it back over to that initial side that didn't get a lot of Maillard because it was in the shape of a ball at first. So you get a little bit more browning on that side, and then the cloche to help melt the cheese. Mm-hmm. Did I get it?
Yeah, exactly. So, well, yeah, these are the things that are
but they're decisions that he had to make. Yeah,
counterintuitive, right? Like you don't want to be over the less you process it, the more you can.
Oh, right. You mentioned how they're gently balled. Yeah, because again, it's almost like bread making. When you over manipulate, or let's use something even easier, pancakes. If you stir that batter too much to get all the lumps out, you want all the lumps out. No, you don't. Lumps are good. But if you stir it to get all the lumps out, your pancake is going to be kind of tough. If you patty that ground beef so that there's no kind of air pockets left inside, you're going to have a more chewy, tough burger.
Yeah.
And like a burger, the whole point of it is to not be chewy. You took meat that was kind of chewy and you ground it up so that it wouldn't be chewy. Right? So like let's maintain the integrity of the burger by not making it too dense.
Yes.
So that I skipped that part. So in the beginning, you said he's very gentle about making the balls themselves. He weighs them out so they're all the same. Mm-hmm. But then, yeah.
And so for the science nerds out there, as you mentioned, salt dissolves something called myosin, which is a protein in muscle. Mm-hmm. And when you mix salt into ground beef, the dissolved myosin forms a sticky gel that cross-links the meat into like a springy, bouncy, like you said, it's more of a sausage hot dog texture. That's what we want with those things.
Yep.
We don't want it with our burger.
You ever see anyone making pate or hot dogs and they get the meat to that texture and they take a little scoop of it onto their hand and then they hold their hand upside down? If it stays, they're at the right place. We don't want that for a burger. No. We want that for our sausage, for our pate, etc.
Exactly. So this is why I think I'm Team Smash here.
Okay.
I think the thinner we go, the more surface area we have for Maillard reaction.
Yeah, I mean, that's completely the impetus behind the smash burger, yeah.
But also, because we're not pre-seasoning the meat, you get a more even distribution of salt. Mm. If I'm making I don't know, 180 grams, I don't know what that is in ounces or whatever, but like a standard restaurant burger size, decent, healthy portion. If I've got a thick patty and if I've got something that people can be like, actually, I want this medium or medium rare, I don't think the seasoning is penetrating deep enough. So I'm thinking I'm getting bites of unseasoned meat.
Yeah, I can fully agree with that. That's why I said like maybe the pretzel bun is going to add a little bit more seasoning per bite. As you just said, if we have any accoutrements on there, the mustard, what have you, that's going to give some more seasoning. But it's all external, right? It's not inside the patty. I can be swayed either way. I would say that when I do have a thicker burger, I don't want it medium rare. You need to achieve 140 degrees to get all the fat to render. And so it's not going to be as pink as getting a piece of medium rare beef. But also it's going to have a much better mouthfeel to have closer to medium than medium rare on a burger that's a thicker burger.
So this is...
Now, the smash burger, it's so thin, it's paper, we're not going to have any opportunity here.
Well done.
It's well done all the way, which I'm game for.
So that's another gripe I have with the modern burger landscape.
People want it medium rare.
Everyone asks for it medium rare because they think that's what you're supposed to do. They think that makes you look informed. No. You have enough knowledge here.
It would pain me when I was
to be dangerous to yourself.
Yeah, it would pain me when I was a chef and people would come in and order rare or even medium rare lamb chops. I'm like, you're just going to get a mouthful of like greasy fat. We have to get a high enough temperature to render the fat and still leave the beef, the lamb in that case, moist and juicy. But anything below that it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
But because everyone's been beaten into their head, medium rare is the way to go. That's not true. Not for every cut. Not for every cut and not for every type.
Exactly.
So yeah, I'm definitely I'm going to plant my flag on a medium thick burger. But let's go back to the smash burger. So then we did skip a piece then, in my opinion. You were just talking about the methodology, but then if we're going to do a smash burger, then we need to have some thinly sliced onions in the smash. Right? So the idea is the ball hits the grill and a pile of very thinly, I mean shaved, onions go on top of it for that first 30, 60 second sear of the ball. Then you flip it over so now the onions are on the bottom and you smash so the onions become part of the beef and they get very brown on the grill and then continue from there. Because the onion is now seasoning the beef.
I think that has almost become like that's the thing you have to do, but I don't see it as being necessary.
Oh no?
No. I think that's a choice, just like your pickles or your sauce.
I know Moats champions that because it's one of the specific regional ones, right? I think it's Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I don't know why Oklahoma's jumping into my brain, but I think it's the Oklahoma way. And that's kind of become the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I guess we could go without it.
It's become the norm. But yeah, I think, look.
But now you want this thin patty, but now you only want one patty. You're a single, for a smash burger, I'm almost always two.
No, I want two burgers.
You want two thin sliced on buns of their own.
On buns of their own.
You don't want two thin sliced in one bun.
No.
Okay, tell me why.
I think that is false logic that people have assumed via McDonald's. I can certainly see the appeal, right? And so you're like, look, I want my ratio of meat to bread to be what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And people will be like, look, why would you get the single cheeseburger when you can get a double? It doesn't cost double, so you're winning. I just
it doesn't cost double.
Unlike Mr. What's his face with his 11 cents Hamburg sandwich or whatever. I just think that like the cross section of a beautiful smash burger or thinly cooked pressed burger is that. For me, it would be bun, sauce, patty, and I would say onions and pickles and more sauce. And that's it for me.
All right, I got it.
You know what I'm coming round to here, though, because I do like it. And don't get me wrong, love the burger down there at Red Hook Tavern and whatnot, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would say if I'm eating outdoors or in a casual setting, I want thin. And if I'm sat down at a table, then I want the restaurant burger.
Okay.
And that's where I'll join you with your medium cooked, thicker patty.
All right.
You can keep your pretzel, but yeah. Wow. Well,
pretzels go so good with mustard, though.
They do.
And cheese.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
But I get it.
Yeah.
I think that this is the great tension of this episode. There are so many roads to go down, and there's no real wrong one.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've said it before about pizza. I've never had bad pizza. If I got pizza, it was good.
Yeah.
Now, have I had great pizza? Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's never bad.
Like a Negroni.
Right. Yeah, a little bulletproof.
Yeah.
a burger is pretty. A burger is pretty bulletproof. If you hand me one, it's probably going to be pretty good.
Yeah. So that brings up a good question, though. Mention Negronis there. So those have been our non-negotiables, our ingredients. Something we've yet to explore so far is booze, and we'll get right into that after another quick break.
Okay. Thanks to Palomo Mezcal for presenting today's non-negotiables. Lighter smoke, higher proof, all agave. Head to the show notes to learn more about Palomo Mezcal today.
All right, Souther, we're back. The booze. It is a show about cooking with booze and drinking with food.
Yeah. Well, we're definitely going to drink with this food, but we're going to give you some options on how to cook with booze.
Should you wish to incorporate booze into this, I think we've got a couple that are pretty strong.
Yeah, I think the first one I would start with is, when we did our episode all about French onion soup, I talked about how I'm not going to bother caramelizing those onions without doing a whole bunch of them. So I always have caramelized onions in my freezer rather. And I cook those with some booze.
Yeah.
Right? Bit of cognac, bit of brandy. You can do bourbon, like whatever.
I think we had even cognac vermouth as well. I think we had in our, yeah.
So I just have those on hand, and they're an easy and delicious addition to a completed burger.
Yeah.
There's
that sweetness.
Right. They're almost a sauce in themselves because they're so tender and cooked down and, soft. At this point, you could probably even fold in a bit of bacon.
Ooh.
Just fold some diced bacon in there as you're reheating your caramelized onions in a small pot on the side of the grill or griddle or what have you. And so there's a great, easy way to incorporate some booze into a burger. What do you got?
So that would be the main one for me. The other one that I wanted to talk about as well is, what the first restaurant that I worked at, the Grill in Lincoln. We spoke about it before we left. It
spelled with an E.
Grilly.
Grill.
This was at the height of the chefification of burgers. On reflection now, we went too far. Our chefs didn't question, how, or I forget that,
Just because we can.
Doesn't mean we should have done.
There we go.
So this burger, and it was served on a board,
of course.
with a cone of chips.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Actually, no, I think by that point we'd got those mini deep fryer baskets, which are a pain to load up during service.
I don't know if it still exists, but I used to follow this great Instagram handle called We Want Plates. And it was just photographs that people sent in of wherever they were eating and whatever they were serving the food on, and it wasn't plates.
Yeah.
We want plates. Can we just get plates?
You know what slate tiles are good for?
Not
roofing.
For roofing and maybe your path in your garden.
I do not need my Roquefort on it.
Yeah.
So what
I'm glad to know you had to suffer that. I've never had to be in a place that had weird plateware.
Yeah. Oh my God. And it was worse as a runner because you were balancing these things on it. There were stairs that go up and down. But the burger we made there, now that we were exploring the science, we made every decision completely wrong. So I think I don't recall what the breakdown of fat to meat was in that. I don't really think conscious decisions were made there. I think they just ordered mince from the butcher.
Sure.
But I, on my days off, was able to get a couple of shifts in the kitchen. This was as I was just starting to take an interest in food. And the burger had this red onion, ketchup, I want to say wine as well, sugar, bit of brown sauce, bit of Worcestershire sauce, reduction.
Mm-hmm.
So finely diced red onions, and then in that mix, cook it right down to almost like a syrup so that the onions have no texture, but they're carrying this flavor.
Sure.
So you had your wine in there. As someone who's just starting out in the kitchen, they would make me finely dice the red onions to improve my knife skills. And then we would mix that with all the burger, with the mince, and really work it and pack it into these patties. And season it as
really
well,
get in
right?
there, Tim.
Seasoning the meat too.
Put your shoulder into it.
And I think, I seem to recall then we would portion those up at 150 to 180. I think it was probably closer to 180 grams. But yeah, so that's another way. If you want to put things through your mince,
mm-hmm.
If I was going to do it on a thicker burger, I'd probably just go very finely diced raw white onions. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
But you could do that if you wanted to bring booze into this dish.
Well, you could do that with minus the mashing it together so hard. Just
Yes.
gently fold that in. I would say even, sure, put it in there, but also just spread that on the bun, on the bottom bun.
Oh, yeah, even better.
Don't even put it in the meat. That sounds delicious. Like all those things are mouth-watering, right? You said brown sauce, which is basically HP, which
HP sauce,
House of Parliament.
Yeah.
It's basically like the British version of A1, along with ketchup, sugar, probably brown sugar, I'm betting.
Yep.
You said red wine.
Red wine, Worcestershire sauce.
And tons of onions.
Yeah.
That sounds delicious, like a jam.
You didn't want to burn it.
Yeah,
Let me tell you that.
Right, because it's going to, A, it's going to be a lot of work lost, and B, the dishwasher going to hate you.
Yeah.
We had rules at every kitchen I was the helm of. If you burnt something, you washed it.
Smart.
Yeah. You made people pay more attention. You can't just throw it over to the dish guy.
Good. Because too often that does happen.
Mm-hmm.
What about some other boozy options for us here? You got anything else?
I mentioned them before, but I didn't mention booze about them. But let's cook some mushrooms and flambe those, with whatever booze you have on hand. Some delicious bourbony mushrooms with a bit of rosemary in there.
Mm-hmm.
Love to put those on my burger.
Nice.
I'd like to have them on the side.
Yeah.
Just like
The portobello mushroom.
Oh, like a whole one? Sure.
Is big with the blue cheese burger era, for sure.
Yeah.
That became a thing. The only other thing I think you could potentially talk about is beer cheese. And why don't you tell us about beer cheese?
Well, beer cheese is when you take literal beer and you take some cheese and you put it through your food processor along with maybe some seasonings, paprika, garlic, onion, maybe even some actual diced onions, and make almost a spreadable. This is what you're getting when you go get those cheese balls. Take that mixture that I just mentioned and soak it in red wine overnight, and then take that bowl out of the soaked red wine and roll it around in nuts, and that's your cheese ball for the holidays. They're flavorful and delicious, and there are places that use them on burgers. I don't think it's the best choice of cheese for the burger, so just if you're doing this just to squeak some alcohol into your preparation, I would say not the best idea. Although I do love beer cheese, it's delicious. I would make that and have it at the table with some crackers while people were waiting on their burger.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a way to get it in there. Yeah, the Welsh rarebit. Oh,
Welsh
sure.
rarebit. Love it. Great thing. That on some toast with some Worcestershire sauce on top. Beautiful.
I think you need to describe a rarebit. I don't think that our listener is probably keen on that, but I love them. We used to have one on the menu at one of my current restaurants.
Yeah, how'd you make them?
Well, we did it with, my restaurant's vegan, right? So we did it with a vegan cheese. But vegan cheeses have come so far,
Yeah.
I think in the last 5 years, we cracked the code because the big makers of the cultures to make cheese realized that there was money in making vegan cultures. And so now the cheeses are the same cultures. That's really what cracked the code.
Smart.
Yeah. Let me see. You make basically like a roux. You fold in your cheese and make a sort of a thick sauce. And then you take big slabs of bread and you smear it all over them and you broil it till it's kind of bubbly and kind of almost mottled with brown spots on it. And then that's it. It's a cheese toasty, but it's a special version.
With the roux, and then I think as well, like a lot of places, or places where I've worked, we've incorporated some form of mustard in there.
I was about to say mustard, yeah.
Mustard, yeah. Brings the sharpness. Mm-hmm. But again, that's such a rich ingredient.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for things to cut through my burger, not increase the richness.
Yeah, I got one more
okay.
for you that I'm only just remembering right this minute. A place that you and I both know and love here in New York City does this. They serve their burger plunged. It's not plunged. It's a ladle. They put the burger on the plate, and then they put a fat ladle of poivre.
Yes.
A very heavy peppercorn-laden gravy of sorts that's made with cognac. They serve it with gloves.
Listen.
Because there's no way to pick this thing up, and there's no way to feel proper eating a burger with a knife and fork either. So they bring you these gloves.
I've been meaning to try this.
It's Bar Snack, by the way.
Yeah, Bar Snack in the East Village. Wonderful place. We love it. Great pint of Guinness as well.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, great cocktails. Great stuff. Love them. I just don't think that I can try that menu item until it cools down a little bit here in New York City.
Oh, yeah. The weather, you mean?
The weather, yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a real rich. I mean, it's basically a burger slathered in gravy.
I don't think exactly that's what I want to be having in 80-degree plus heat.
Sure.
Way to make yourself feel even more greasy and dirty.
Now, I haven't had it, and I haven't seen anyone have it. I've heard people talk about it, and I've seen a few Instagram posts. But I assume if they're giving you gloves, they're probably giving you a bib, because there's no way to travel this thing from the plate to your face without drips.
Well, I'm heading there tomorrow, so I'll scout out.
Do some journalistic investigation. Get back to us with the recon.
Final way to get booze into this.
Oh, you got one more. Let's go.
Just your classic bourbon barbecue sauce.
Oh, yeah, sure.
But you know what I wanted to mention and why I wanted to mention this. So at the weekend, I was making ribs. Smoking ribs in the garden, just for internal use. Don't worry, you didn't get an invite because no one got an invite.
I know. I saw you post it, and the same thing that came to my mind comes to my mind every time I see you do this. It's such a long process, and you have one rack of ribs. Like, you may as well do as many as your grill will hold every time you do this.
It's more, what can my fridge hold? And we had other stuff that hadn't been cooked. It was very much on a whim. I'm like, I'm grilling today, so we're doing this. But for that, I specifically made our Manhattan glaze that we did for the ribs episode.
Uh-huh.
It's so good, that sauce you came up with. Like, it's weirdly like used rye, sweet vermouth, bitters, ketchup. I think it's brown sugar, handful of other stuff. Reduce that down. Great. Amazing. There's this American whiskey base to it, like vanilla-y, that works so well, especially with the sweet vermouth. I'm like, this is a really good sauce, and that would go great on a burger as well. We've got some left over, so maybe I'll be doing burgers this weekend.
Sounds great. What time do I come over?
Internal use only, I'm afraid. Well, so that's been the booze, finally.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to take another quick break now. Then we're going to be back with the preparation.
Yeah, I think I'm going to let you take the lead because I was planning to grill one, and it sounds like you want a smash burger, and I've jumped the fence. I'm with you.
Okay. We'll take a quick break, and then we'll be back.
Yeah.
Today's preparation is brought to you by Underberg. Herbs, bitterness, balance. Like any great dish. Like Underberg. All right, Souther. We're back. Preparation. We've kind of been through everything so far, so I think, we're making these distinctions, just a few final decisions to walk through here. What I'm basically doing here is the George Mott's sort of prototype. So I want to cook this on my griddle, but I want to do it outside, so I'm going to do my griddle on my grill outside, right?
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't do a smash burger on a grill.
Yeah, exactly. That's the other thing.
You got to have your griddle.
But if we were
your cast iron pan or your carbon steel pan, whatever, get it out there.
If you were going to do the thicker ones, I would do those on the grill.
Of course, yeah. But we're not. Today we've decided this because I do feel in my heart of hearts there's going to be another hamburger episode.
There are. Yeah. Maybe we'll explore that one then.
Maybe it's what if we did 4 a year?
Yeah. Ooh.
We'll get back to that.
So, yeah. Maybe we'll resurrect the grilly version. We'll try it out. We'll recreate it.
Well, we should. In fact, we should pack one really tightly and do one
side by side.
And do a side by side for our own edification, which I already know the answer to. Yeah. But also, we'll do a video and we'll show people one of them. I bet you'll be able to pick up by the very edge and it'll stay straight out. The other one will be like folding.
Yeah. All right. So, going to get my griddle really hot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to lightly, ball 80-20 blend of, and we'll do that. We'll commit to the Pat LaFrida blend that we mentioned earlier. Mm-hmm. Chuck, brisket, short rib.
Yep.
Okay, because you've given me the license here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to dice my onions very fine, get them just soaking a little bit in ice cold water to take away a little bit of the bite. And then, we're going to do exactly as we mentioned for George Mott's. So we're going to lightly sear it on one side, about 10-15 seconds, flip it over, smash it, cook it till it's 70-80% of the way turned from pink to kind of brown. And again, this is the less seared side that we're seeing here. You'll see the fat coming around the side. He mentions it in the video as well, where it's almost like you're not confying it, but the fat is coming out and then cooking it and maintaining the sort of juiciness of the burger.
Yeah, you're kind of like sort of shallow frying it a little bit.
Exactly.
I would also just back you up before we get too far past this. I think we really need to talk and describe, because this is the radio, smashing the burger. It's thin.
Thin.
Right?
half an inch?
I would say even thinner than that. Half an inch. That's thick.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm centimeters. Half a centimeter.
You're the metrics guy. You need it to be thin enough that the edges look almost lacy.
Yeah.
Right? You've smashed it so hard that the edges aren't smooth.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And people have
tools. It's not a piece of paper, but it's only a few sheets.
And there are tools for this as well,
There
right?
are.
That you can buy, or you can just use your cast iron spatula that you have.
I do have a
Get some good-
cast iron spatula. It's
Yep.
awesome.
So yeah, get it that far. Then we're going to flip it. We're going to go on with the American cheese. I am going to lightly toast my white rolls or potato rolls here for this. Just a little bit. Not going to add any fat or anything. I'm just going to lightly, just to get a little bit of a sear on that, a little bit of light brown color. We're going to take those off. While the cheese is melting, I'm going to go... And do you go sauce on both buns? Or do you go... Okay, so I'm going to go mustard on the bottom. I'm going to take my burger off, going to put that on there. I'm going to go ketchup on the top side of the bun. Not the top side, you know what I'm on about. And we're just going to get a little bit of those onions. And you know what as well? Because I'm in the driving seat, I'm going to go with some pickles as well.
Yeah, dill?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lovely. And then, I mean, if I'm doing this at home, I don't know whether I'm going to the effort of making French fries too. But I would love French fries.
We'll talk about what we're having on the side. But yeah, I think the only thing you missed, but you said it earlier, is salting. Right?
Salting, yes, sorry.
Got to hit it with a generous amount of salt. This sounds delicious. My mouth is watering for those of you with your bingo card. And I was when you said, I don't know if I'm going to go through the effort, I thought the next part of the sentence was going to be to put this on a plate. I thought you were just going to stand there and eat it right over the grill. Because that's the thing about a smash burger. They go fast.
But this is the other thing as well, again, about Mott's. So his is very fine salt. And he has some other spices in there as well. I think there's a little bit of garlic powder, turmeric.
Oh.
Which is news to me.
All right.
And
a little anti-inflammatory for you. Enjoy your burger.
Saffron's too expensive.
Take your
so
medicine.
With the turmeric instead. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, maybe I might go a little bit of garlic powder with my salt and get that on when I'm seasoning. So what do you want to have on the side then? Yeah.
If I'm having a smash burger in your backyard, fries probably seem like a stretch. Although certainly that's kind of what you want.
Although we were deep frying out there recently together.
Right. That's right. We were. We did our vodka beer batter and we did some fish tacos. On the side, I think I'm a coleslaw guy. Especially if I'm in the backyard. Like, let's have some coleslaw. Some potato salad, maybe, instead of fries.
Oh, man. Can I mention something
you ever have fried potato salad? So go ahead and make them almost like British roasties, and then make potato salad out of those when they're cool.
Ooh.
Right?
So we mentioned Red Hook Tavern earlier. Billy Durney.
Yes.
Another establishment he has down the road, Hometown Barbecue.
Oh, yeah.
Have you had their potato salad?
I've not. Well, I mean, I probably have, but I didn't stand out, or I'm not remembering. What's up?
I have never had anything like this in my life. Maybe this is common. You'll tell me. They essentially, it's mash served cold with a bunch of vinegar and chives. It is delicious.
Yeah. Skin on? Are they red potatoes?
Hard to tell.
Red potatoes or
No.
russets?
Yeah.
Interesting. Sounds good.
Like, I've never come across anything like that in my life. Delicious and also nice and cool. Beat the heat. I don't know. Not traditional for sure with a burger.
Yeah. I think I would throw one more, and I'm realizing now they're all cold. Macaroni salad. Like some kind of a pasta salad. It's always good with a smash burger.
Interesting.
I don't know. If you got the grill going, maybe we got some baked beans. You down with that or no?
Yeah.
I mean, you're a beans guy. I love beans. I literally always have beans in my house.
Just not in his chili, folks.
Not in my chili. That's a different episode.
All right. Well, that has been today's burger episode. Today's burger preparation, sorry. Souther, we spoke about how we might be able to work booze into the dish, but we can certainly talk in just 1 second about how we're getting the booze into the glass.
Yep.
Thanks to Underberg for presenting today's preparation. the tiny bottle that saves big dinners. Head to the show notes to learn more about Underberg today. All right, Souther, we're back.
Yes.
It's the drinking section. You handed over the preparation to myself today, so I'm going to say, hit me with some wine and beer Rex first today.
Sure, buddy. Well, you nailed it right away. The first thing I want with this is a beer.
Yeah.
Like it's a clear and present choice. And again, if we're in your backyard, I want a backyard beer. I want a Pilsner or a lager, something crisp and easy drinking. I'm talking, Modelo, but not the dark one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking, what's it, Especial, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking, honestly, red and white dynamite, baby. Bring me a Budweiser, right?
I want to drink it out of a bottle as well.
Yeah, I'm always you know what? I'm always a bottle over a can guy. I don't know why that is. Something about the bottle feels good in your hand.
I want those little ponies. Tiny little ones. So that by the time I've finished it, it's still too cold to drink.
Sure. High Life. Let's get some High Life ponies going.
Yeah.
Medalla in that little skinny can. Those stay nice and cold. Yeah, but anyway, so like.
Or a German Pilsner, like a Bitburger or something as well.
Mm-hmm.
Let's honor the roots there.
Yeah. Lagers are going to like help cut through some of the richness where Pilsners are going to help like refresh. They're refreshing. Refresh your palate. I could even see like a pale ale, but not my first choice because that's going to add some bitterness up against all the fat.
That's more I'm having a thick burger at a brewery or a brew pub. Right.
They might actually even want to bring me over like a porter.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Something really rich to go with a big heavy burger.
Mm-hmm.
Wine-wise, I think I don't think I'm revealing anything to anyone here. Zinfandel.
Mm-hmm.
Right, that's
the classic.
That's the classic American burger pairing with a wine. We spoke recently on an episode about how I really enjoy Syrah because it's got a peppery note, and I think that note plays quite well with a burger.
Yeah.
And then if I'm adding cheese to the burger, again, if we say cheese, it's American. If I'm adding that American cheese, I'm going to maybe reach for a Cabernet Sauvignon.
Nice.
Which is going to like tie those things together a little bit better than the other options.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's my beer and wine Rex. But honestly, what I really, really want is a frosty cold beer right off the ice from the cooler that is hopefully full of not just ice. Please, people, don't just fill it with ice. Fill it with salt as well. That way your beers will be cold.
And also water.
Yeah, a bit of water.
The only other thing I would say in that realm, I don't care what the question is, the answer always is Lambrusco.
Yeah, you're right. But and right up until you said Lambrusco, I was thinking, I kind of skipped also a glass of sparkling wine, champagne. Champagne and a burger. Let's go. Who says no?
That was another phase as well, wasn't it? More pizza and fried chicken, but the high-low pairings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Get a bottle of Krug.
Yeah.
And a smash burger. Die a happy man.
Yeah, you're living. What do you got for me for a cocktail? I feel like you got one in your pocket.
Well, this being the most American of dishes, foodstuffs, this being a grilling season and an American time of year, and it's no secret this episode is coming out just before July 4th weekend.
Yeah. Strategic.
Yeah. Well, people are out there. But the funny thing is we've decided for a method where we're not grilling, but we're using the grill.
Yeah.
So there's a cocktail that I love that I think deserves more recognition. It's called the American Trilogy.
Yep.
It was co-created by a personal friend of mine in the show, Richie Bucato, along with Mickey McElroy. At Milk and Honey in 2006.
Wow.
Named for the Elvis number An American Trilogy, apparently. I've interviewed Richie about this, and I forget if that came up, but I love that song, by the way, one of my favorite Elvis songs. But what is it? It's an American trilogy of rye whiskey, native to this country.
Yep.
When people say native, it's like it was created, right?
Yeah.
It was like when people were saying Japanese whiskey is going extinct. No, stocks are running dry.
Yeah.
It's not going anywhere. Rye whiskey, applejack, which is an American form of apple brandy.
Yes.
They do a weird freeze distillation. I don't really know
We don't do
exactly
that.
how it
We
works.
don't do that
It's
anymore.
how we used to do it.
Yeah,
right?
it's called reverse distillation. So just to edify the listener real quickly, picture taking your hard apple cider, your alcoholic apple cider. This doesn't work if you don't start with alcohol. And putting it in, let's just say for our audience's visualization, like a hotel pan, shallow pan.
Yep.
And then, back in the day, you'd sit this on your back porch in the wintertime, and overnight, the liquid part of it would freeze, but alcohol doesn't freeze, right? So you'd have a sheet of, or like kind of granita of ice on top, and you come by the next morning, you scrape that off and ditch it, and then you do that another night and you ditch it. And what are you doing? You're removing the water, but you're leaving behind the alcohol, so you're getting a much, much higher proof product.
Yeah.
Now we just distill it, but this was called applejacking.
And now people in Scotland and beyond are using that technique for switching. In cocktails.
Right. So switching would say you remove the water from whatever your spirit of choice is in that same fashion that I just described. You're doing this in your freezer now at this point, but and then you weigh the amount that went in the freezer before it went in, and then you weigh it after you've scraped off enough water, and then you replace that weight with whatever liquid you want. One that's very interesting to me is taking blended scotch, removing the water, and replacing with coconut water. Because, as you know, down in Puerto Rico, it is quite common to drink tall glasses of very icy cold Scotch whiskey and coconut water. And it's delicious.
So good.
So why not just remove the water and replace with coconut water?
And I don't even like coconut water on
I
its
kind
own.
of don't either.
But I love it in
But
this.
this combo,
it's so good.
Like, that's alchemy.
Yeah.
That's when you say half the thing, 50% of the thing I don't like, but I like the thing. Yeah.
All right. So back to this American Trilogy. We have rye whiskey.
Yes.
We have applejack. And orange bitters, which I'm reliably informed is an American invention.
Yep.
Probably further south than these other two ingredients, which would have been Eastern Seaboard. This is an old-fashioned riff.
Yeah.
1 ounce of each of the spirits, a 1/4 ounce of Demerara syrup, probably 2 to 1, and 3 to 4 dashes of orange bitters, built like an old-fashioned, garnish but you could do rabbit ears, but I think probably orange twist is classic.
This was an orange twist, yeah.
It's a great drink.
I mean, it's a neoclassic. It's been around for, like you said, since 2006. It's delicious. It hits every time. I love it. And I think it is fitting to pair, as we've said numerous times in this episode, sort of the American, the biggest American contribution to culinary is the hamburger. I think the old fashioned is our biggest contribution to the cocktail world, and we can have these two things side by side, and that's kind of glorious.
And then also just like to add an extra seasoning to it all. Talk about Richie Bucato, family originally Italian, moved over here. He's now a multiple business owner, very successful with 100-Weight Ice and the bars. Dutch Kills is a personal favorite of mine over in Long Island City. Michael McElroy. Irish by birth, immigrant. These are people whose families and who have themselves lived out the American dream.
Yeah.
And to come up with that cocktail and to celebrate it on this day, I think, is very poignant as someone who is a newly minted citizen myself.
Yeah, you are. I love your little flag. Do you keep it with you?
Oh, yeah. It's just over there in the distance. Part of the club now. So, are there any you got some final thoughts for us here today? It's been a long one, but it's been a big one.
I think this is huge.
The burger. It's big for us.
Yeah, I would just say in the cocktail realm, I think we can't overlook that a burger is also delightful with a crisp martini.
Oh,
and me being a Gibson fan, as I am and I'm known to be, I think a Gibson would be a great choice here. And I wouldn't be remiss to even at least throw in there, why not take that American Trilogy and dilute it and have it in a bottle in that frosty cold cooler that we just talked about, and pull out one of those ponies of beer and a little shot glass and have yourself a Boilermaker.
Yeah.
While you're having this burger.
Very cool.
Right? A little sip of beer, a little shot of this cocktail, and a bite of burger. Let's go. I'm in.
Love it.
So that's kind of my final glance towards the cocktail section.
I want to get your final thoughts, and you teased something earlier, but before we do, I want to save that right till the end. So I've got something here. Let me try and rush through this as much as I can. Spoke about Buenos Aires earlier. Started my short-lived Heisenbergers. When I moved to Buenos Aires, it was just at the end of a short-lived fast food chain. And I want to bring it up for a few reasons because it's a very curious tale. So in 2011, the Cristina Fernandez de Kirchner was the head of the party that would have been in the sort of Peronist, socialist lineage in Argentina, right? The Kirchner, they were called Kirchneristas, the people that sort of followed her and whatnot. Them being a populist party, they had a sort of slogan or a phrase. It was called Nacional y Popular, national and popular. A guy called Alex Gordon founded a burger chain in 2011 at the wave of this popularity, called it Knack and Pop.
Knack and Pop.
Nacional y Popular.
Oh, okay, sure.
Right. This was built on the foundations of, hey, we're anti-American, we're anti-thing, we're protectionist here, right? Our hamburgers will cost you half of McDonald's. We're using real cheese. Their slogan was, no es Mac, es Knack. It's not MC like McDonald's, it's Knack, right? In like 3 years, at its peak, I think they had something like 15 locations, 200 employees. Alex Gordon, as I said, was the founder. By September 13th, just as Argentina had once again defaulted on loans internationally, just as literally the month that I moved there, this guy disappeared and stopped paying his employees. The chain went bankrupt. This was a company that was built on populist ideals. It had a populist slogan. It claimed to treat its workers better than other fast food restaurants would. By the time this guy just got up and left, all the workers had 3 months of unpaid wages. Plus, every year in Argentina, you get a 13th paycheck, which is like an annual bonus or whatever. It's called aguinaldo. People were looking for him. His brother was his business partner, Gabriel Gordon. People came asking, like, this guy's got bills to pay. No one's answering the phone. What's going on? And he said, no sé dónde está mi hermano. Si lo encuentran, que me avisan. I don't know where my brother is. If you find him, tell me. I'm looking for him too. But there's a bigger irony to all of this. So a chain that was built as anti-American and anti-capitalist and pro-Argentine should have been called Knack y Pop, E being the word for and in Spanish. Instead, the name was Knack and Pop with an ampersand, which is English.
Right.
So it's national and popular in English. The guy was Uruguayan, wasn't even Argentinian. Now, of course, that's next door. And had spent decades of his life living in Israel. So the most aggressively sort of pro-Argentine fast food chain, which went out of business the month that I arrived in Argentina. And they were terrible, by the way. I managed to have one before. You get like ham on these things. It was disgusting. Worse than White Castle. But claimed to be pro-Argentinian, wasn't founded by an Argentine, and had an English terminology in its name, claimed to be pro-worker, and then left its employees with 4 months of unpaid wages. I just thought this is an insane story.
It is. I have a few questions, as you might imagine.
Yes.
Has he ever been heard from again?
I was looking today. No one knows where he is. They assume he's either in Uruguay or back in Israel.
Not even to his brother. He hasn't been heard from.
As far as I can tell, there's no updates on the internet.
Okay, listen, there's two people that are immediately at the top of my list of suspects. One is the clown from the business he was shaming.
Yeah.
And two is the American government. No. Was this guy taken out by Ronald McDonald and or the CIA?
I think he just did a runner. I think he just I think the brother was maybe in on it.
All right.
But
wow.
Some of the stores went to employee owned afterwards. Others got rebranded as things like
McDonald's.
24 hours. No.
Weird. They were all taken over by McDonald's.
No.
We can't figure out where he's at.
So
yeah, he's somewhere wearing giant red concrete shoes.
So that is my Porco Populist fast food chain of the week for you.
Wow. Porco Populist. That's incredible.
Now, for yourself, Souther.
Sure. I have a little thing I did tease out a little bit earlier. I think some of the listeners who know of me know it's true. I love doing this episode, and I do actually very much love hamburgers. I really do. But as a strange personal form of protest, I have made myself a limit of only 4 hamburgers a year. And frankly, almost every year, I don't even get all 4. And there's been a few years that have gone by where I've gotten 0. Because what happens is I'll be like, oh, I'm going to go to X restaurant and have their burger. As you just said, like if a place is putting a burger on the menu, unless it's a burger place, when I look at the menu, I go, well, everything on this menu looks better than the burger. And then I end up not having the burger.
Mm-hmm.
But I will relay one anecdotal story that I love that kind of explains why I do this. I do it so that the burgers that I do have are exemplary in either their presentation and flavor, et cetera, or the time that I have when I get to have one.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, some years ago, pre-pandemic, I posted out on my, as one did back in those days, on my Facebook. And I said, hey, I think it's a burger day. And all of those who know what that means to me, I need your suggestions. Where should I go? I got around 300 responses within the first 2 hours. Most of them were not in New York City, which is where I was. So I had to cull those out. The ones that were in New York City, I counted up the numbers, and then I reposted later to say, all right, I'm going to Happiest Hour here in New York at, I think, whatever I said, 8 o'clock to have a burger. 16 people showed up to have a burger with me. Was it the best burger I've ever had? No. It was quite good, though. It was kind of a restaurant-ified version of the Big Mac. Came with some delicious fries, and 16 friends, and even sort of just Facebook-y friends showed up to have it with me.
Wow.
So I think that the burger, being so ubiquitous, has also become something that people will somewhat suffer.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said earlier about pizza, like it's still good, but I don't want it to just be good. I'd rather not have a burger than have one that's not great. So
I think
that's where I stand on the burger.
I've gone through a whole journey there. Now, obviously, I didn't know that about yourself, but it got me thinking about artificially imposed limits on burgers, right? That you put that on yourself. So then you've put your 4 burgers under more pressure to the point where you're not even fulfilling that 4 in most given years.
You're right. It's crazy.
Artificially.
But I will say this year, it's only, we're approaching July 4th, and I've already had 3.
Whoa.
And that was kind of a happenstance. I was at.
I know you had to Sip and Guzzle.
I was invited to Sip and Guzzle.
Oh.
And I went there. Excuse me. And I met my friend, and I was running a bit late because it was weird weather and trains or something. And I was like, oh, I'm like 15 minutes late. And he was like, they told me they have a burger for you if you want me to save it. And he was like, he knew that I only have 4 a year. And I was like, it's February. I haven't had one this year. Sure. So I got one in February. Then literally not even a month later, in March, I had one at Cozy Royale, which I had been to a zillion times, but I'd never had their burger. Finally pulled the trigger. But I don't know if that one counts because they were doing a happy hour smash burger, so I haven't had their burger. Do I put it back on the list and go back for their burger? I don't know. We'll decide later. And then can't even remember right now. The third one, it wasn't as memorable. I could pull my memory out. But so I'm on track to hit easily 4 this year. But who knows? We'll see.
Maybe you and I will go down to Red Hook Tavern or...
Still never had the Red Hook. Oh, that's the other thing. I never repeat. I don't know if I pitched that one in there. So, once I have your burger, that's it.
Then one final recommendation that I actually had a week recently where I had the Red Hook Tavern burger one night. And then the next night, I had the Minetta Tavern burger.
Oh, yeah.
With a martini. And none other than Mr. Why am I blanking on his name? Keith McNally.
Oh, yeah.
The owner and restaurateur was in the restaurant that night. And anyway, burgers, martinis. He uses a Pat LaFrida blend. They have a custom Minetta blend, I believe. But Souther.
So that's the Porco fact about Souther.
That's the Maurice mandated burger limit.
You did the Porco. I did the Maurice. Yeah, that's the Maurice mandate. Great episode. I think we covered a lot of ground, and I think there's still more ground to cover. Is the great part about this episode. I always love episodes when I feel like we can't get it all in.
We just scratch the surface.
We have to revisit.
Well, in the meantime, we shall be putting on our aprons.
Grabbing the shaker.
And let's get cooking.
And drinking.
Cheers.
Cheers, buddy.
Happy birthday, America.
Happy birthday, America.
Down the British.
Let's celebrate with a burger.
No taxation without representation. Except I've been paying taxes in this country for 9 months and not been able to vote.
9 years.
9 years, sorry, not
Yeah.
9 months.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers, buddy.
Sourced is recorded and produced by The Coaster, an independent podcast network based in Brooklyn, New York. Huge thanks to Charlotte Ager for designing our show logo, as well as the beautiful illustrations on our digital recipe cards. And thank you to George Miata for composing our awesome theme music. Escucha. Big thanks as well to all of our partners on today's episode. Please head to the show notes to check them out. We truly couldn't make this show without their support. And speaking of support, thank you to our premium subscribers, especially our founding tier backers from Kickstarter. And finally, thanks to you, listener, for joining us on this journey. Until next time, let's get sauced.